Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody in between, that is Eddie Vega.
And that is Chibi
And this is Words,
and shit. Brought to you
the
by the
show,
Block Post Spot and Write Art Out.
the show where you get to know the person behind the poetry. Eddie, how's life?
I think I just had like a half bottle of wine. So, hey,
Life
we're
must
doing
be.
awesome over here on the north side ish of San Antonio.
We are. I'm a little feeling weird these days. I just
Oh,
started doing this thing known as exercise, and I'm not sure why.
oh man.
And
Wait, you waited in like 8 months into quarantine to start doing the
I've
exercise?
I've tried. I've tried a couple of times. It's it's like I go for it for like I think the longest stretch was maybe like 6 days, and then I fall off. I fall off the wagon.
Oh, that's you tried. You tried. I thought you were gonna say it was 6 minutes, but like 6 days
No.
is way better.
I'm on day 3. We're getting there. But yeah, all that to say, I have no idea what I'm saying. All that to say, I have no idea what I'm saying. It's
Speaking
been
of
an interesting past week.
yeah.
But I'm glad to be here now. We are together. This is as close as together as we can be in these days. And right before we started the broadcast, we brought our guest on the show, on the screen, and we were like, it feels like we haven't seen each other in over a year. And it's like, we haven't seen each other in over a year. So I'm just really excited to connect with him tonight, talk a little bit about our guest tonight.
Oh, I am so excited because tonight we got Black Chakra, a spoken word and hip hop artist whose talents have been showcased on stages across America. And his time competing in poetry slam competitions, he's been a national poetry slam champion, Texas Grand Slam champion, Southern Fried Slam champion, and a plethora, that's right, plethora of other titles too long to list. Black Chakra embodies the city of Baltimore through aggressive performance and incredible writing. Next to being the talented writer that he is, what he takes most pride in is being a youth poetry teacher for Dewmore Baltimore. He helps Baltimore youth cultivate their talent and showcase it on national stages. And just like you said, I haven't seen him. You haven't seen him in over a year, but he's an amazing artist. I love watching his videos and watching him live. So honored to have him on here with us today.
In fact, one of the last times I saw him, the man almost threw a chair at me in the middle of a poem. So I'm glad for social distancing. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome Black Chakra.
I wasn't ready for you to bring that up.
You know what? I'm gonna start listing that in my bio, just being like, and once he almost had a chair thrown at him by Black Chakra.
I was like ready in my mind to do a poem as soon as I came on, but then you said that. It broke my focus completely.
We broke him.
You broke Black Chakra.
Okay.
No. All joking aside, so excited to have you on here. Can't wait for this conversation. So before we hand the show over to you, just a note to everybody that's watching live on Facebook right now, please use that comment section. That's what it's there for. It's the only way that we can communicate these days is the comment section. So use it, show some love to the poet. Ask your questions too. We'll be monitoring the comments, and if you ask a good one, we may just ask it. All that being said, let's start how we always do and hand the show over to you, sir. Bless us with some poetry.
I pissed on a Confederate monument. I laughed when they told those rednecks they can't have their flag. You buck-tooth, fuck your uncles, I'll punch you. I got Africa in my soul, so my Tim's buck too. Yeah, I'm ultra black. I'm Huey with Harriet's gun, with a cartridge for a white carcass that sparks darkness. So when I say eat clips, that just means I'll bury your sons. I'm Cottonfield and Common Meals. I'm the burning slave ship in my mind. I'm Sonogram, Joseph Sinkay. I'm the sensei of the Sin City. I mastered how to maneuver through the pitfalls, the pitfalls. I'm a big boy. They ask why I play football. I tell them it's enough of my niggas getting picked off. I seen goals turn to bullet holes when beef got kicked off. My homie Steven was murdered, and his kills were wearing face masks when he was taken out. For when niggas will snatch his shoes if the lace is out. You a poet? You gonna have to be Tupac just to make it out. So my options were Hail Mary or Hail Mary. You don't know how many blocks I ran through to escape that route. It's real, nigga. Avoided football my whole life, still ended up in the field, nigga. I'm ultra black. that color as an action. I'll make a verb out of that word because you got to be better than everybody else. L's, you'll rise but never ask for help. C, a better path, illuminate it and make way. And when all that fails, you're left with 2 letters, AK. See, most days, I be praying for a good life. Should I settle for a good night where I'm not covered in blood or ending up on death row? You know the Suge Knights. I'm a ghetto griot, struggling to trust my brethren. I've grown colder. I could be walking down the street down in heaven and still look over my shoulder. Like some angel got an angle to get my wings clipped. So I make a deal with God to keep 2 things gripped. And I ain't seeing halo, I'm saying halo. I don't sing shit. I'm ultra black. No reason to be silent when my suffering is systematic. Why, after living through the diaspora or the dichotomy, would I be diplomatic? Because me, I'm the black and the best. I'm the crack in the flesh. 2 terms describe me, a hazardous threat. Obsidian onyx, I'm midnight. But I'm waiting for 12 to strike me. I'm Spike Lee, directing police cam footage, my horror scene in HD. That's high def. I'm ultra black. The nigga unplugged from the matrix but plugged in online to give my life support. I'm a fighting sport, an athlete of the back streets. I'm a star. And I shine. But only at survival. And it's like that because I was a child in a home of the wild and a king I would never be. I was raised with the hate that was deeper than hate in this kingdom by the sea. So do you understand my harshness? How I part lips and pain comes pouring out like Pearl Harbors were a port of trade, descendant of slaves, so I should be ocean ready. I'm supposed to wash this trauma off in a manner that seems fit. But I come from contaminated waters. So excuse me if whenever I see sick, I'm from the city of cold victims, where alcohol turned young men into old niggas. Irony, in their 20s they clutching 40s, and their 40s can't hold liquor. Death got an aroma. Drugs own us. High school became a case of rolling papers like, which one you want, the blunt or the diploma? I know. Dark thoughts. But years of murder and conflict turned me slightly gothic. God ignored the children of Baltimore till we became agnostic, exorcised the Jesus out of us. So I don't think the cross fit. I know gangbangers like pagans, Crips paying for life with blood, sacrifice with a raven is the gunshots knocking at your chamber door. But I can take the tapping that'll leave your ass napping from ghetto wars that go on forever or turn your tomorrows into nevermore. Well, we need change to change, but only receive little. Nevermore, and when big money comes, it goes to the whites. Nevermore is we the niggas. The people they never put a check out for, living in conditions that the city never checks out for, but built a supermarket off our income, so maybe it's ourselves we got to check out for. Every mayor is a thief and a damn liar. I'm dodging the shootouts and the damn fires. Every new friend is a possible vampire. Basically, you got to watch who you stick your neck out for. We the ultimate in the urban decay, but you don't understand the rock. I'm trying to pull my niggas off the rock like Camelot and stop them from breaking hammers down like it's Ragnarok. Niggas spilling plasma over a Magnavox, over a used condom. They'll let a Magnum pop. Oh, yeah, they popping on you. Masked up, gloves on, look like they got corona. And what am I? A poet. Carrying my friends' bodies over overdoses. Inking my poems in blood like the hands of Lady Macbeth. My performance immortality is attached to mortality. The morgue is what pays my mortgage. Welcome to this house of horrors I've built. I'm a John Carpenter, but if I don't tell these tales, they'll be lost like the ghost of my friends who vividly visit me like Scrooge on Christmas Eve, because I'm the only nigga who can spit their eulogy, a reminder. No matter how large I get, I'll always be a medium. I'm gonna spit the truth for those who can no longer be. A city full of ghosts, writers who bring their rhymes to me. And though I might be thankful for all the things that I may be, it would cheat the dead if I ain't speak on his kingdom by the sea. And, you know, because of that, those conditions I grew up in, I'm always forced to ask, like, what must I go through to show you shit is real? And I ain't really never give a fuck how niggas feel, so get at me. I done mastered skill. I'm a fucking guru with this mass appeal. You go to a slam like, I really hope I win. I go to a slam like, what's higher than a 10? It's cliche to say that I'm fired from the pen, but I'm more like a bullet that's been fired from the pen. But in the book, I'm embedded. I edit, so I fuck up my caresses like I'm fired from the pen. That's what y'all do. Your wordplay, cliche, middle school stage. My wordplay, Broadway, New York, strip steak, raw, Monday night, wrestling with my uncle to put the smack down, crack shit, no, crack shit, troubled waters, ocean blues, muddy waters, howling wolves, every corner where a lichen lead to a silver bullet, so I skin the monster, werewolves, touch of mink, on the streets is bah, bah, bah. If my boys don't band, we're in sync, rolling deep, we're Adele, computer click, knobs buffering, reload the clip. Shooter shit. Get around the block. Rubik's Cube. Colors don't belong in certain spots. Your number's up when 12 is on the clock. Except know what they're punching out. If they grade us, I'm an A+, you're a high C. Don't ask me what this punch is about. I got the juice. Not Shakur, well, not Pac. I'm a Sada. I'm a shot of dread me. I am drama. TNT. I don't blow up. Always there. I fell down Lauryn Hill if I don't show up. At slams, I split groups in half just so y'all can grow up. And when I go to open mics, I dissect an open mic, spew flame, broken mic, leave you with a smoking mic, nigga. If you're dead nice, I'm a fucking poltergeist. Poetry is what you profit with. It's what I profit with. You got a nice flow. I'm ice cold. We are polar opposites. Like I said, a master is here. Video views viral. I got the type of aura that an atmosphere. They talking best poet nominations. This is world domination. I bring the Atlas sphere. Thanks to these bars, everybody knows my name. You don't have to cheer. We're not friends. Ain't nobody mad about you. You just a growing pain. That's why poets get mashed and burnt like Notre Dame. Dash from these acapellas will get split in half. Rockefeller, I'm UFO meets UFC. And I'm ill. CDC. Now I'm Dragon. DBZ. We're not in the same class. GED. I carry spoken word on my back until my disc crack. DVD. I know my homeboy's in heaven because when drugs took his life, I watched a G.O.D. So spare me with this who's the best talk. I'm tired of you rolling with that trust fall, nigga. Ain't nobody holding me back. Get at me. Whew. And you know, it hurts to be so confrontational with people. I don't want to be. But I just keep getting so mad at everything, bro. I be so mad at everything. And they be mad. They be asking me why I'm mad too. I got so many reasons to be mad. Like cash. Money. Like cash rules everything around me. I be a consumer. Consume products till they consume me. I got an apartment I pay for that I ain't never had, except for quarantine. Now I'm always here. I got an apartment I pay for that I ain't never had. Do so much for my phone that I've become an app. But I ain't no boss because I work for my money. But it still don't work for me. I ain't found a smile attached to a check. I bought 6 pairs of Jordans. Ain't found happiness yet. Where's cash? We're trading cars with slave masters, images, irony. We all want dead presidents, but yet our taxes rob of the one that's still living. And that don't make sense. And if I make sense, I'm not a man. My masculinity got a dollar sign attached to it like a cash app name. Weird because I've never been Venmo love. I can't pay pals when the streets only pay you in pals. So I got to rob Peter to pay Paul to pay Peter to pay God because even heaven costs. But I thought the point of money was to play God. They say God don't like rich people. He don't like the poor ones either. I'm as poor as Jesus. Every month, I perform a miracle to keep my funds in order, walk on an ocean of debt, spit so much poems for money that my mouth has become a collection plate. But if these poems are for cash and aren't for mass, aren't I still a prophet? Trust in God, and God I trust, but it's hard to trust in God when he ain't had nothing to my trust. How am I not worth a dime when there was a time when my skin was the currency? So money don't grow on trees, it just gets lynched from them. Just gets spent on them. Niggas smoking weed trying to get high enough to blow away the pain. You see, poverty is the father who can't afford your Christmas gift, but capitalism is the uncle who sits you on his lap for a couple of bucks. So either way, your presence is fucked. It's all because of cream. Creates ruthless, evil American monsters. Can't rest even a moment. Fucking money I can't remember even actually making. Cash rules everything around me. Like my dollar is a collar around my neck, unlike a bill. It ain't no change for that. Last piece. Rest in peace to Chadwick. Rest in peace to Kobe. Black Panther and Black Mamba. Both gone, but in thinking about their legacy, I'm remembering Kobe, so I think about courts and how niggas be balling until they try to blaze you. No, I think about the activists and how they lake us. So between the blood of the martyrs and the bodies in the waters, I think about courts. How niggas be running through courts. You gotta steal to get the steal. You don't get the pump fake. It's pump-based pump shot. You want to rise, you die as soon as you try. Jump shot. I think about 8s, 24s. And how 846 is murder plus 22 more. I think about Tamir, how he was 12, and then 12 doubled his age when he ate 24. What's your life expectancy? 8, 24? I think about last shots, buzzer beaters, and how that correlates to us out here trying to beat the buzzards. When I think about Chadwick, I think about Black Panthers and how they die, like Fred Hampton and how he died in the bed with his baby. What kind of shit is that? Or Brianna in the bed with her baby. What kind of shit is that? Or how cops get off with vibranium laws. What kind of shit is that? I think about comics and how our death be a joke to them. How they illustrated our stories. So we don't get drawn, we get drawn on. And then our cases get drawn out. There I go, talking about courts again. When they be tossing our freedom like free throws. How can you want to help your people but still end up over that cliff? Then I think about the past. How you can want to help your people and still end up dead over that balcony. Man, this shit stings. They stood over Martin's balcony like, this your king? I'm sorry. This poem's supposed to be a eulogy for Kobe and Chadwick, but halfway through it, my ink turned to Jacob Blake's spinal fluid. How can I mourn when it seems like I was born for funeral? My tears could fill a Grand Canyon. I'm being crushed under this color that causes crucifixion. So tell me, how do I be holy when I'm getting crucified? How do I stay neutral while I'm being neutralized? How do I remain human while being dehumanized? Why I'm supposed to care that they burnt down a target when I am one? You know what? I don't even care for the answer, dog. Because since T'Challa passed, that constituted me reading the Constitution. I've added a Panther clause. America don't want us to be the heroes, so I say they give them villainy. I ain't feeling peace. Cops knock on my door. I'm feeling for my peace, and I ain't feeling your odds. You want a race war with the children of God? Fine. Come get holy. Come get baptized in bullets. I ain't thinking about scores and movie awards. I'm thinking of wars and how to even the score. Thank you for gifting us with this crown of chaos that's circular, like the pain we've been living through, and it's never ending, and I know exactly who I'm going to give it to. No love. We don't get to live in harmony? Fine, let's meet at the crossroads. I want your bone, thugs. Respect, revenge is the only way to make us royal again. So I say that's what we bring. I'm tired of this peaceful Panther shit. Killmonger is king.
Yeah. After most performing, like, we've had different styles on here. Sometimes I feel just like wow, like I have this sigh because like it's after you I feel tired is what I do. So like, I mean, there's so much there, and that's a lot to think about.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That was I think the most energy I've seen someone have while sitting down. I know anytime I've like tried to do a feature or something like that, I can't. I'd like prop my computer up on top of a bunch of boxes and have to perform standing because it doesn't work out that way for me. But you are a phenomenal wordsmith, and going back through seeing videos of your poems from the past to like refresh, because again, we haven't seen you in over a year, and listening to those right now, the way you weave words and ideas together is impeccable. So I'm curious, what are your influences? Like, how did you get to the style of writing that you have now that is so intricate and purposeful?
I have to say, this was actually Chibi and I don't usually tell each other what question we're going to ask. And this was going to be my first question too. So
clearly the world needs to know.
How long, to add to that question, how long have you been at it?
Well, I'll answer that question first. I've been writing since I was 8 years old.
Okay.
And I'm 31 now, so about 24 years, 23. Hip hop was my main influence.
Okay.
When I first started, my cousin Cortina introduced me to hip hop. Not that I hadn't heard it before, but she introduced me to the idea of actually doing it. And my father was big on me studying what I do. So I started reading lots of books. And then reading, you learn there's not a lot of books that tell you about how to be a hip hop lyricist. So hours of studying. Hours of studying. I would listen to MC. I wouldn't come out the house. I would tell friends I was punished. My mother would be like, why are you telling people you punished? I'm like, I'm not. I just need to say him. And I would just listen to a mixtape and try to figure out how this person put that word together. I would spend hours thinking of how words came together. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how I developed my style, learning how to stack words, listening to different lyricists like J, M, Big L, Biggie. So hip hop is where my main influence comes from. And then a lot of Baltimore poetry. Baltimore poetry is a very strong sound and aesthetic as far as like power and like lyricism and rhyme and performance. So I get a lot of it from that too.
Can you maybe expand a little bit for those who aren't familiar with like Baltimore poetry? Because again, we're down here in the South, Eddie and I. Like why that is? Why is that so prevalent in the poetry of that city?
I think it has a lot to do with our close proximity to New York and Philly.
Okay.
Very strong hip hop cities. So naturally, most of our lyricists would be like very like hip hop influenced. And to describe it, we call it the Fire Nation. So firebending is when your lyricality, your wordplay, rhyme, you're one of those type poets. This is the place where firebenders live. All the top poets when I was growing up were the rhymers, the lyricists, the ones with the wordplay. I would say I'm a slight evolution of those. The Lamar Hills, Archie the Messengers, Eat a Poet MCs, Love the Poet. I'm a slight evolution of them. However, the style and it just sells more here. I don't know what it is about that hip hop influence. We like to hear MCs, but only when they're not MCs. It's
How important is Baltimore to your poetry and to your life? Like what is it? How important is it, and what is it about the city that you bring out?
My city has a twofold importance to me. One, because I do love living in Baltimore, despite the horrors, despite the things that you hear about from Baltimore, despite The Wire, which is quite the accurate show, believe it or not.
Uh-huh.
I do love it here. I do love the people. I love the culture. I've had a lot of happy memories, and it built me as the poet and the person I am, and I'm thankful to be both of those. But the twofold then becomes the poets here. I don't represent myself. I represent the hopes, the work, the dreams of other poets from the city, both who inspired me and that I am now inspiring. And I'm using their energy as well. Like, I am not myself because I did this alone. I did a lot of it, but Slangston Hughes helped me a whole lot. Lamar Hill helped me a whole lot. Carlos Muhammad helped me a whole lot. Love the Poet helped me a whole lot. Eat a Poet MC helped me a whole lot. All these people, Rebecca Dupas helped me a whole lot. All these people put their hands into making sure that I was this good of a poet. That's why there'll be what some would consider lesser poets, and I'm not going to shit on them or make fun of them because I'm like, bro, so many chefs had to put into the pot to actually make me good that I don't know who I would be without all their help and influence. Mm-hmm. So that's another reason why my city is so important to me, because all these people took their time to help me become this, and I just want to show them how appreciative I am.
I love that. Now, you did mention in your poem, or in an intro to your poem, that you're mad a lot. And I'm curious, just quick question that may lead into a rabbit hole. What's your star sign, bro?
I'm an Aquarius.
I knew it. Called it. My husband's an Aquarius. I was like, he's probably an Aquarius. I get this. Because Aquariuses are known to just like so passionately feel something like in one direction, right? And just like throw yourself entirely into something. So is that a common theme in your life where you just like go 100% in one direction?
Yes, I am very tunnel vision. Mm-hmm. When I have it in my head, I'm going to do something. I focus on nothing else. Makes dating very difficult.
Trust me, I know.
Lately, I remember was 2 or 3 days ago. You asked on Facebook if you were going to date me, what advice would you give? You got any good answers on that?
So yeah, the question was, what advice would you give somebody who was going to date me? Somebody was like, if y'all get married, don't write your own vows because he's going to turn it into a competition. Try you. And I've only met this brother like once, and I was like, how you know that? Accuracy. Like, some people were like, one dude, my man Manja, he was like, well, I would say don't be, if you're going to be a poet, be a dope poet with bars. And matter of fact, don't be a poet. So those were some hilarious answers.
I think that's a really great segue into this conversation. This question from Ebony Stewart. She asks, when are you going back to battle rap?
Well, I am very battle rap influenced. Like I love battle rap. Like I was watching battle rap before we did this. Like battle rap's my shit. I love the wordsmiths of it naturally, with their ability. You're talking about street guys who haven't picked up the books I've picked up and stuff like that, but their usage of poetry, of double entendres and execution is so beautiful. So I will always be a fan of battle rap. But to do battle rap, essentially, you have to stand in front of another black man and tell him that you're going to kill him and all these horrific things you're going to do to him. I do not desire to do that. As much as I love boxing, it would break my fucking soul if I had to hit another man continuously every week, every year. Like that's not something I want to do. I like to use my art to heal, not harm. And battle rap will be me using it to harm. I don't feel like that's what my gift is for. Also, you battle, the best bars you use in that battle, they're in that battle. You can't use them again. I don't like that shit. You can only say that line once. Fuck that.
Now, what about battle poetry? Are you more inclined to do that?
And I'll explain that now. The thing about me bringing the battle rap style to spoken word is here I do it and I stand out. In battle rap, I would just be blending in. So in spoken word, when I use this style, I allow myself I'm introducing a new way to go about doing poems. If I went into battle rap, did some of the things I do, people be like, yeah, this is what battle rappers do. So as far as battle poetry, how combative I am with the writing, the way I crafted like a battle rap, and then even like challenging poets one-on-one. Yeah, I'm gonna keep doing that stuff. Because poetry needs something different. I decided that years ago. Like poetry needs a new type of thing. I was staying at my grandmother's because after the house fire, I had to go live with my grandmother. And my grandmother didn't have internet, so nothing to do, genuinely. So one night I'm laying on the floor because that's where I slept. I'm laying on the floor and I'm thinking to myself, why isn't poetry where it should be? And I was like, characters. The reason wrestling is because characters. Boxing, Muhammad Ali was a character. Mayweather was a character. It's like somebody's got to bring characters to this shit. And I was like, well, somebody to bring characters to spoken word. First, people would have to actually believe that they were good. So you have to sell them that they were good. They'd have to actually have championships behind them. They'd actually have to be willing to be hated by other people because no one's going to like a guy that goes around challenging people. And I said to myself, well, who the fuck is going to do all that? And then it hit me.
You're like, me?
Yeah. I was like,
why not?
It's you.
I totally get the feeling. I get it every time I walk into like a page poetry reading where they're like, oh, this is different. Oh my God. And it's like, yeah, it's just, it's spoken word. It's a totally different art form, but being able to kind of like marry mutual art forms is what kind of sets you apart,
Absolutely.
You kind of touched on it a little bit. Is like, what is poetry missing, right? You've been in slam for a while. You've won multiple accolades, right? You came to Texas and stole a belt buckle. Well deserved, actually. You earned that belt buckle.
Oh, he's going to go get it.
He's going to go get the belt buckle. Anybody watching that doesn't know, Texas Grand Slam is a Texas poetry competition, and the winner gets a belt buckle.
Yeah, I told them I need a little bit more than that. So instead, I had them make me a championship wrestling belt.
And we're going to talk about wrestling too.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we'll get there. But so my question is, this pandemic has definitely put slam kind of on hold, on pause. Nationals hasn't happened in over 2 years now. Southern Fried went digital with a, Avatar-esque world. There's now all these virtual slams that I've been to a few and it's different. It's weird. What do you see the future of slam? Where do you see the future of slam going? Both, I guess, now in the virtual world and in the future when the world opens up again.
So I have an interesting perspective. And I could be wrong. because I'm not Nostradamus. But there's going to be an interesting influx. A lot of poets found a new voice because they could finally make it to poetry events without leaving their house. They finally had the courage to sign up because they're not essentially in front of a group of people. It's going to be different. And then the brother Brandon Leak winning America's Got Talent. Spoken word is technically the top talent in America right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to have a large influx of people, but they're all going to lose fucking terribly.
Why?
Why? Because there are lies that this thing tells you that don't work in front of an audience. I've seen online slams where some dude was reading quietly off their paper, and the judges are watching this on their phone. They're like, oh, the poem's not bad. They're reading it off their paper, but, they're sitting at home. That ain't going to cut it when you stand in front of a... Listen, I've had to stand in front of you, Chibi. I've had to slam you. The amount of energy, the amount of performance, the amount of storytelling that you have to go against when you have to go against a Chibi or Dunya. Like, that's not some shit you just read off paper. There's a lot of people who've been getting this false self-worth coming from online slamming, and I'm just like, I hate to break your hearts, but if you're not, it's going to be different when we get back on stage. Like, one of the things you said earlier was like, I've never seen so much energy while someone was sitting down. That's because I perform like there's an audience. I can't ever forget. And whenever I get a chance to get in front of an audience, I go the fuck off. I'm exercising. When the NBA was off before it came back in the middle of COVID, you would see online pictures of LeBron James working out. I'm doing the same thing. I'm writing new pieces. I'm memorizing new pieces. I'm practicing new pieces constantly, consistently. Why? Because I know when slam comes back, there's going to be two types of poets. Poets who ain't done shit and are completely not ready, and poets who have written 9,000 fucking poems and are coming to win the individual World Poetry Slam. So I think slam's going to be very interesting really soon. But I want to tell all these new people who are going to lose very badly that you are welcome. And we're going to be very happy to have you. The line starts behind me.
Oh, all right. I was going to ask you that. I mean, I think you kind of answered it, but do you think there's a number of poets out there who are going to be losing their chops because they're not in front of audiences and they're not?
It depends. I don't. And I'm not saying this because the motherfucker's in front of me. I don't see a Chibi or Dunya losing their props. I've seen Chibi spit for an open mic. I've seen Chibi spit for a slam. Same powerful motherfucker. See what I'm saying? There are poets like Ed Mabry, who I've been seeing him on certain online slams, still very much Ed Mabry. I think it depends on the poet. Because this quarantine is going to expose a lot of people. There are people who are like, I've been performing the same poem for 6 years, but I never have time to write. And the quarantine happened and they haven't written a single poem. Those are the people I worry for losing their chops. Because it was like, competition was all it was for you in the first place. That's the only reason you wrote poems. I write poems because I'm a writer. I wasn't competing this whole year. Like, I didn't go out for my team this year. I didn't slam in Baltimore. I did one slam before quarantine. It was a one-on-one between me and Roddy. That's it. And I've still been consistently writing pieces because it's my career. It's my job. It's how I pay my rent, damn it. But also I'm a writer, which is why I chose it to be a job. So I think those poets who never took writing seriously, never cared about putting the effort in, yeah, they're going to have a problem. People like yourself, Wayne Henry, I think they're going to be fine.
I think too, it's going to be, I totally agree with what you're saying, where people that are coming out of the woodworks to now participate in slams on the virtual stage might get a very rude awakening when it comes to the real world. But I also think that's kind of the idea where, the phrase iron sharpens iron, right? You come out, You get a rude awakening. Now you got to work, right? Now you start to better yourself, right?
Absolutely.
So
last night I went to an open mic in my city. We have one that's back. It's social distancing and masks. But a poet from out of town came, and I have respect for this brother. He's pretty good. I don't know how long he's been in the game, but I know it hasn't been very long, but he's pretty good. I was going to go get on stage and do a new poem that I'm practicing for a feature I have on Sunday. I saw this guy was there. I said, oh, nope. Got to show the outer town is what we do here. So because of that, I was like, nope, I'm about to perform my ass off, kill the stage, leave nothing left. And make it hard for him, because that's what poets did to me. And I think it builds you. If it doesn't build you, I don't think you're meant for poetry. Poetry's hard.
Especially in venues kind of like that, like San Antonio, Heckle Dome, Budo Slam. Like,
oh yeah, I heard. Sarah Timmons told me about that shit. Good Lord.
Yeah.
Slam's hard for me in a predominantly black city, and I'm a black lyricist who rhymes. I can't imagine how hard slam is for a trans woman. I can't imagine how hard poetry is for a Spanish person who identifies with the LGBTQ spectrum in front of a Texas audience. Like, I can't imagine that. So poetry is hard for me, and I'm in a good position. But then again, I go to Seattle, Spokane. Poetry is very, very hard for me. So because of that, yeah, I'm under the belief that poetry not supposed to be easy.
I like that. So go ahead and brag on yourself a little bit. You mentioned, you've been practicing for some upcoming features. You got some upcoming shows. What you got in the time?
So in Baltimore, first I want to shout out. 2 weekends ago, I was in St. Louis for a feature, and it was great. Ren Alexander William organized it, and I had a great time. It was good to get back on stage. Oh my God, it was good to be a feature again. Going out of town, traveling. I mean, this is the shit I love about poetry. My parents was very poor mentality. They never traveled. We never went. I didn't go to an amusement park till I was 22. So I don't think I would even travel if it wasn't for poetry. You know what I'm saying? Poetry is probably the reason I leave the house. Really. This Sunday, I have this event called Illicit Poetry. It's in my Instagram, Black Chakra 88, and comment on there, and I can send you the Eventbrite if you live in Baltimore. It's a 7:00 showing and an 8:30 showing. So it's basically me doing the show twice. Most of the money is coming towards me in the venue, and I've written a slew of new pieces. I'm interested to see what people think. As soon as I get off with y'all, I'll be working on memorizing all of them again. Constant practice. And on the 30th, I have a show, which is in, I think, Hartford County, Maryland. Now, this is a very interesting show because there ain't no fucking poetry out there like that. So, essentially, I'll be, like, introducing them to spoken word. And I think it'll help if my Baltimore audience could come with me and be like, oh, this is normal. Don't worry. Him screaming about the police, this is perfectly normal. I know he doesn't have a piece of paper. I get it. It's weird. Go with it. So those are some of the things I have coming up.
Yeah, it's always good to have, people in the audience that are familiar with your work to like let the rest of the audience know, like, it's okay to yell at him too. You can yell back.
So there's a whole lot of other when you're at a big slam, a big festival, there's other types of poetry out there that people enter into competition for. And one of those is the Nerd Slam. And you know so much about comics, about movies, about rap and hip hop. You could nerd on a whole bunch of things, but I have never seen you entered at a single Nerd Slam, and I'm wondering why.
Well, I am a nerd of many things, as you said. I haven't lost a game of Seen It in 17 years. Okay, that's an exaggeration. It's been 15 years. I usually kill my friends at movie trivia very violently. Not even close sometimes. But I'm a nerd of many things. So when the Nerd Slam comes up, I never know what to choose. And then I feel like whatever I choose, I told you about the tunnel vision. Now I got to go hard and study everything. Like one year, I was going to say my nerd knowledge is Buffy season 3.
Just season 3.
Just season 3. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I love all of Buffy.
No, but season 3 was a good one. I remember.
Oh God, season 3. I watch it like at least 3 times a year. As a matter of
but also that's the trick to like winning at the Nerd Slam is you got to be hyper specific. You can't just say like, "Oh, Batman," because that opens you up to the entire canon, right? Exactly. I'm not gonna say no names. Fuck it. I was at Nerd Slam 2016 at Nationals, and this white dude was like, "Batman, 1989 movie." I said, "Okay, that's specific." They asked him who played Harvey Dent. And he ain't know. You should have seen me in the audience. Oh, I was a steaming motherfucker. I was like, what? Billy D. Williams. How can you forget the smoothest motherfucker? Lando Calrissian played Harvey Dent. And I was so angry. That's another thing. I'd be like the angriest spectator at the fucking Nerd Slam because I'd be knowing some of the answers. I'd be like, last year at Southern Fried Nerd Slam, they said Tommy has been the White Ranger, the Green Ranger, but name another color he's been, which is red and black. Right? Listen. These are very easy questions for me. Very easy questions for me. Nope, couldn't come up with the answer. I fucking screamed. Somebody got asked about the dialogue of a cartoon, and this nigga going to say, he said name, they said, this is the question, I remember it. They say, name one of the cartoon characters who had lines in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I remember this one.
I was pissed too. Tom and Jerry. They ain't got lines in their own show.
I was like, come on, Tweety Bird, Porky Pig.
No, Bugs and Mickey.
Oh my God. Fucking Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny share a scene.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. All right, so then
this nerd shit just get on my nerves, bro.
So then let's put you on the spot because
oh shit, Steve, now I'm about to get fried. Let's go.
Uh-huh. All right. So my husband's a bit of a comic book nerd as well. So I asked him to Huh? Yeah. So he came up with 5 serious nerd questions, okay? And we narrowed it down. We narrowed it down to X-Men and Superman. Okay. All right. So here's the first one. Referencing Fox's 2000 edition of X-Men, those original first 3 movies, who was Bryan Singer's first choice for the role of Wolverine?
Oh, I know the answer to this, and I'm still going to get it wrong. Was it Mel Gibson?
It was Russell Crowe.
That would have been a fucking terrible movie.
It would have been terrible, and he actually was. That's what I said when I found out.
See, look, I knew it was an Australian. I just didn't know which one.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God!
He actually recommended Hugh Jackman. So there you go.
That's dope.
All right, switching to Superman real quick. There is a curse associated with the Superman movie production similar to Poltergeist movie productions. Name 3 actors who have either died or experienced some serious life-altering accidents that have all been part of the Superman.
George Reeves killed himself. Christopher Reeves was crippled by the horse. And Brandon Roth does not have a career anymore.
I'll take it. We also had Marlon Brando on here and Lee Turgley, I believe. Okay. No, not that one. That one's way too complicated.
Wait, let me hear it at least.
Across all media outlets, who has played Superman the most?
Across all media outlets.
All media.
Show.
Huh?
Meaning television show as well?
Television, movie, radio, all of it.
Video
Cartoons, game. Live action.
Well, Jesus. I mean, Christopher Reeves did 4 movies, But technically, Henry Cavill has done Batman vs Superman, Man of Steel, Justice League. So he's only done 3 films, so we can't count him.
Well,
technically, wouldn't it be Tom Welling because he played Superman for 10 years on television?
So the answers, there were 2. For television, it would have been George Newbern, who did the voiceover in the cartoons Justice League, Superman and the Elite, Justice League Unlimited.
Wait a minute. That can't possibly be over Tom Welling.
Or if you count radio, it would be Bud Collier's, who did 2,088 episodes of The Adventures of Superman in an 11-year run.
Oh, no, that nigga win. That nigga win.
All right,
but
2 more.
So the voice, then again, there were multiple seasons of Superman.
It was from the year 2000 to 2019. That's 19 years of cartoons.
God damn, he has been doing voice work that long. Mm-hmm. And there are multiple seasons of Justice League. Oh, okay. No, that makes sense. That was a very complicated question. I love it. One
last question. In the 2000 Fox storyline of X-Men, which relationship between characters was never referenced? And I'm sure there's more than one, but
never referenced by the characters who were in it because
never even acknowledged that it happened, but it did happen in the comics.
Several. You got Mystique actually being Nightcrawler's mother. You have the relationship between Gambit and Rogue, which just never happened on screen. You have, they didn't mention Wolverine and Sabretooth being brothers until the Wolverine movie, so in the original trilogy, even though he fights Sabretooth in the first movie, was never brought the fuck up. We never bring up the fact that Charles Xavier and the Juggernaut are actually brothers. Or if you want to go into some nerd shit, or the fact that Captain America and Wolverine are 2 of the people who helped Magneto out of the concentration camp as a child. It's just a whole bunch of shit. Like, Jesus Christ. Though we find out in First Class that Havoc is clearly Scott Summers' brother because, the names and shit like that. In the comic books, Havoc is the younger brother, and they never bring up their father, Corsair, who was the leader of the Starjammers.
Those are all perfectly valid. The one that my husband wrote was and that's why he said foster relationship, the relationship between Mystique and Rogue, where she actually brings her up, and then she goes and steals Captain Marvel's power and becomes like this evil thing, and then finds Charles Xavier and is like, save me, I don't want to be evil.
Right, that shit just, Rogue went from one of the most powerful woman icons in the cartoon comic book lexicon to this random country chick with a streak in her hair.
Yeah. And
I'm like, no, as soon as Captain Marvel came out, all I kept doing was this: count your fucking days. Count your fucking days. I hate those moves. That Captain Marvel movie. I can't wait for Rogue to touch her ass.
And that's why I didn't even ask the 5th question, because the 5th question was, where can a crossover be anticipated in regards to the Rogue and post-Fox buyout? Captain Marvel 2. See, you're doing good.
All right, get her, baby. Go fucking get her.
I'm issuing the challenge. I need to see you in the next Nerd Slam. All right, I'm done.
Yeah. Now, what about the absence of Jubilee? Period in those.
She's not absent. She actually deleted off of scenes in X2, and she is in a scene in X-Men: Age of Apocalypse. The absence of them giving a fuck about her character, completely real.
All right.
So, and for the next Nerd Slam, that's all we're saying.
You got to get in there. Get in there.
I don't know if Elja's watching, but if he is, then
LJ know he my heart, yo. LJ my hero.
So let's talk about something else that you are a huge fan of, wrestling. I got a 2-part question. One, quick answer: how long have you been watching wrestling?
I have been watching wrestling since I was 5 years old.
Okay. So then 2, what is or was the golden age of wrestling? The best years?
Listen, man.
I got my opinion, so.
This is a very hard question to ask me specifically. I saw a post in this nerd thing I follow because I'm on a lot of nerd pages on Facebook, naturally. And it was like, nobody hates wrestling more than wrestling fans. And I'm like, you're right. Because me, I hate everything, bro. I hate everything. That being said, for most people my age, they will say the golden age is the Attitude Era. Mm-hmm. And the Attitude Era is a hell of an age. I mean, WWF was producing its best specifically because they were going against WCW. I have a whole conspiracy theory about that. I'll explain that later some other time.
Monday Night Wars, yes.
Yeah, the Monday Night Wars. And that's where, they lost a lot of their mainstays. I mean, Bret Hart left. Shawn Michaels broke his back, had to leave. Fucking Hogan, Macho Man, all these names that wrestling was built on were like gone. And so they had to build new stars. And they built The Rock, Stone Cold, Triple H, Mankind. So many people would say the Attitude Era. Me, it's the 80s. The 80s. Why? One, Hulk Hogan turned this shit into a religion. You got to remember, man, wrestling wasn't watched by children. Wrestling was watched by men who went to go see a circus spectacle. But then one day people turned on their television and this guy said, hey, I want you to say your prayers and eat your vegetables. And parents are like, oh, shit. I say the same thing. But because he's 300 pounds of muscle, they're going to listen to him. He made wrestling mainstream. But also, that's where you got the greatest characters. I mean, Flair and what he did with the Four Horsemen, the promo kind of like, people always ask me who's the better promo kind of The Rock or Ric Flair. And I think Rock's promos are a tad bit better, but they couldn't exist without the shit Ric Flair was doing. The shit Ric Flair was saying in his promos. Ric Flair told this, he said, listen, ladies, none of you can be first, but a whole lot of you can be next. He said that on television. He was arguing back and forth with Jimmy Garvin on the wrestling channel, and he took off his shoes. He said, Jimmy, my shoes cost more than your house. I said, damn.
What?
I said, damn. Like, Flair, he used to call sex, or he used to call his metaphor for orgasms was Space Mountain. Yeah. He told some woman in the audience, you're going to love me. Once you get to Space Mountain, you're going to be like, and just collapsed on the floor. And, I mean, it was just a time tag wrestling was at an all-time high. I mean, in the 80s, just give me a second here. You were introduced to Hulk Hogan, Macho Man Randy Savage, the Road Warriors, Ric Flair, the Horsemen, Sting, Lex Luger. I mean, it's just a plethora of names.
Andre the Giant.
Andre the fucking Giant. The selling stock of wrestling.
Ultimate Warrior.
Making attraction of wrestling. You know, that man went like 17 years without losing a fucking match. And it makes perfect fucking sense because who believably can beat a giant?
And then to take one in that WrestleMania, where the first thing to do was for all of them to gang up just to throw him out of the ring. Yep. Because we got to take out this guy before any of us can win.
Right. Everybody's like, oh no, like he got to go. Andre the Giant, man.
Now, do you think that would some of that 80s wrestling fly today? Because you also had characters like the Iron Sheik. And
listen, man.
Attacks America.
Eddie, there's shit in the 90s that could never work no more. They were saying suck it on television. Triple H was making women take off their shirts on camera. Hell, in the 2000s, there was a goddamn wrestling stable called Crime Time and another one called Mexi Cools, and they came out on lawnmowers. There's a lot of shit in 90s wrestling. Oh my God, Stone Cold drank beer and assaulted women in the same 5-second period on national television.
In the 2000s.
But 90s, Jesus.
In the late 90s, early 2000s, there was a Japanese tag team that would come out and like be speaking in their native tongue, but it would be like voiced over in English. Like, yeah, there's some problematic shit that happened. In the wrestling.
I don't know about this. This might be a deep dive, but do you remember or have you ever seen? Because you might be a little young for it. I saw it as a kid. I'm a little older than you. but there was a WWF cartoon on Saturday.
Yes, it was. Rock and Wrestling.
So you saw that one too? That had all the same characters on there, but they were like, solving crimes or whatever and being superhero-ish.
So,
well,
yeah,
I do all bad on it.
I still have the VHS.
You have it on VHS?
Yes, I do.
Dude, because my parents recorded it. And it doesn't have hours and seconds, hours and minutes. It has feet of tape.
Exactly. Got to rewind it from the back if you ain't got the VCR.
Mm-hmm. Staying on this nerd level that we have now reached in this show. That's why it's called Words and Shit. We're going to talk about all sorts of shit. For quick answers, rapid fire. Okay. Don't need any explanation. Just give us your thoughts, and then maybe we'll deep dive on one of them. 1, best Superman portrayal in a show or cinema.
Oh, God. You can't act. Christopher Reeve.
Okay. 2, in the kind of times that we are living in right now, who would be the better bad guy with a savior accomplice? The post-Lois Lane police state Superman, Thanos, or Magneto?
Magneto.
Okay. 3, was Xavier a good guy or secretly an egomaniac using the X-Men?
Secretly an egomaniac using the X-Men. Malcolm X. All day.
And then 4, fuck your Aquarius star sign. Who's your favorite X-Men?
Gambit.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
I have to ask. We have to deep dive on Gambit.
There you go.
Because the real answer is Wolverine, but I don't want to be cliche.
Now, Gambit, comic Gambit, movie Gambit, or 90s cartoon Gambit?
I don't think we've had a movie Gambit.
Watch your disgusting mouth. We had a movie Gambit.
Wolverine.
That terrible Wolverine movie.
That was terrible, yeah.
That. Nobody likes that. 90s cartoon Gambit, the goat of Gambit. Mm-hmm. I was just watching the episode of in season 2 where he goes back to New Orleans to save his brother, and he was with this crew called the Thieves, and his ex fiance was with this crew called the Assassins and shit, and the X-Men came there to go save him and shit, and he takes Shorty out, and she had this ring. She gave him this wedding ring that like controlled him. And he took that shit off, and she was like, "Remy, don't leave me." He said, "Leave you? I'm an X-Men, Cher." I said, "What?" That nigga Gambit. And even Rogue was looking like, "Damn, he just got me wet." Like this nigga. God, man, you know that she know that giving him pussy could kill him, and she still wants you. God damn.
I guess same question then for like what you wanted the answer to be. Which Wolverine? Comic book Wolverine, 90s cartoon, or movies?
Comic book Wolverine, man. Different level. I'm talking about comic book Wolverine that went against Deadpool. There was this series that came out in like 2014. It was called Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, where Deadpool was the ugly, Captain America was the good, and Wolverine was the bad. And the three of them teamed up to stop like this biological mutant warfare. That Wolverine. Wolverine in the issues where they use like his blood to clone this woman, but like her wooden claws and everything. And in this issue, it was basically X2. It was X2 mixed with the first Wolverine movie, this issue I read. And he like jumped in a helicopter and just like started stabbing niggas up in the house. That's my Wolverine. Wolverine in the Old Man Logan graphic novel, who, spoiler alert, kills all the fucking X-Men because of Mysterio. That's my Wolverine. Yeah, comic book Wolverine all day.
All right.
Right.
Well, I would say my little nerd heart is very full right now. Thank you so much for spending this time with us. I really feel like we got to know a lot about you, both in your poetry world and just your what makes you happy world. So thank you so much for spending this hour with us. Chakra, if you don't mind, if you could please just close us out with one more poem.
Bet. That's the name of my life book. One more poem. He's too loud. He has so much energy, but he sounds so ghetto. I don't consider him a poet. It can't translate on page. He's all pain. Spoken word doesn't need him. I was trained in the art of humility. I recognize these stanzas and soliloquies of a God-given ability, and I should be thankful that people are even mentioning my name. But I swear to God, you niggas is killing me. I sound too hip-hop to get my literary rights, but I'm still the pick of the litter where he writes. Something that fails to ignite the conscious. What would you prefer? That I simplify and synthesize my sentence size and give you stories less gory for me to memorize when I remember eyes staring at me the way wolves glare at anything with flesh? Way before my house fire, I learned to breathe with new lungs. Had my oxygen threatened on Baltimore corners where ciphers turned gruesome. Told me I was nuts to be out there, so I grew some. One nigga out battle, so only the winner gets to live. And I'm still here, so I guess you know who won. Before I first said I want to slam, I had a knife pulled on me. He said, give me your bread. I dropped that nigga on his head. That's the first time I want to slam. Sorry. I don't get jealous of poetry. Sorry. I'm just replying to poems who try me, but in 2019, I lived through my brother dying. The cords connected to his arms couldn't save him, so I don't know envy, but I know ivy, poison, coming out of his body till he became a plant. And when he passed, I took it in vain. Irony, the reason he passed is because he took it in vain. You think my poems don't correlate? I meant to correlate to this sort of faith. This is how I translate God. So my core is faith, and usually I ignore the hate. You write poems to express your emotions, so to your feelings, you're innate, but lack the raw and real. So don't ask me why I'm pissed when I'm a 10. You're innate. You think spoken word doesn't need him? Don't you know poetry will lose its power if you took black out with dope lines? You know I'm potent. New poem, show him focus. Show devotion that he can't write talk. Kill that. I'm the one who brought the ill back. Scoliosis. Don't you know this universe owes me? I came up barely trusting the niggas who know me. I'm talking dodging shootings at video shootings. The chopper could have killed him like Kobe. I was in a hole of hurt, and I wrote my way out. This poems be my Bible. Your stage is my freedom papers. Your applause is replacing the gunshots tatted on my memory. Don't ask me why I murder ink. Before you think to replace me, I rip the skin off my skull and put it onto yours. So before you deface me, you gotta face me. Any acclaim I've gained to my name is because I've walked through flames. Don't you fools know? Audiences love pain, and I'm made of it. Baltimore gave me this crown of thorns, and I made it fit. Heavy is the head that waits for the bullet to splatter my pain all over a notebook. Now tell me, how well would that translate on page? So I'm Black Chakra, a.k.a. Waka Chakra Flames, a.k.a. Silk the Chakra, a.k.a. Chakra Khan, a.k.a. Chakra Namakon, a.k.a. Chakra Style, Chakra Style, a.k.a. Nomad Black, a.k.a. Chakra 316, a.k.a. Chakra Omega, a.k.a. Cactus Black. Y'all know what it is, motherfucker. I love your mama, but she don't love you enough.
Cactus Black? I can't. Cactus Black. I cannot. I live. Oh my God. Shout out to Mick Foley.
Martinez. Thank you. This has been the nerdiest words and shit I think we've ever had.
That it is.
Pretty nerdy shit up here, but like no, this is. I mean, we've got props and everything on this one.
This is just what my apartment looks like, you know. Shout out to my nerdy niggas. Like all y'all out here be like, women don't like nerdy men. Listen, I have Power Ranger toys hanging up in my room, and it has not stopped my flow of vagina.
You heard it here first, America. Power Rangers. We'll power up that game.
I want y'all to know that I'm working on that too. I want my own Power Rangers show. I want a Power Rangers Nigga Force.
All right.
My new station. It's called Nickelodeon. Got cartoons like Sponge Jack Low Jeans. Fairly odd. My parents ain't got no job. Real niggas. Are you afraid of the
Yeah. I can never like say any of those things. So.
That is a chapbook waiting to happen, first of all.
Yes.
That's a chapbook waiting to happen. Y'all, that was Black Chakra joining us for this fantastic hour. If you enjoyed what you heard, if you want more, go follow him on Instagram, Black Chakra 88. Also, he has a book out. You can find it on Amazon. It's called Black Hero, the Mixtape. Or if you just enjoyed and you want to show some appreciation, send the poet a tip, all right? Cash App, Chakra Black. Just do it, please. All right? Show this man some love. Thank you so much for being here this past hour. This was phenomenal. You know.
Thank you.
Thanks you, sir. Oh, Heart of hearts, super full. I'm schwitzing, but it's not over. We still got what? 4 more episodes this season?
That's something like that. Yeah.
Before we break for winter?
We have most of that lineup already. So
who's coming up next week, Eddie?
It's a friend, it's a legend, the voice of NASCAR. I think he's got he works for the Carolina Panthers, and he's got I don't know if it's an Emmy or a Grammy or a Tony or a Timmy. I don't know what he's got. One of those. All right. But from all the way from Charlotte, we got Blues with us. Boris.
Super excited for that.
So we are excited about that. That's right.
So if you're interested in catching that, please make sure you join us next week here, same time, same place. If you want more information about the initiatives that are being put on by these fantastic organization known as the Blah Poetry Spot or Write Art Out, follow on Facebook, Blah Poetry Spot. Follow on Instagram, Write Art Out, WRITEARTOUT.
And catch the podcast. Whenever you listen to your podcast.
That's right. This show is now available on podcast. So go listen to it, people. We got some amazing stories. We've been doing this since April, y'all.
Yeah.
We've been doing this since April. There's a lot of great episodes to go catch. So
and follow us on the Twitter and on the Instagram where we have the handle Words and Shh. Words and Shh. We don't want to be secret. They just don't let us put shit on there. All right. So that's what it is.
Until next time, that over there was Eddie Vega.
And that was Chibi Orduña.
And this was Words
and Shit.
Take care, y'all.
Good night, everybody.